Onkyo RZ50 versus Denon X3800H. And the real question is whether the Denon's extras actually show up in your room, because the Onkyo comes with Dirac Live built in, while the Denon leans on Odyssey unless you pay more for Dirac on top. Spending more only makes sense if you'll really use the extra subwoofer outputs and the 11-channel processing. Though going cheaper to save money hurts if your theater plans outgrow it. By the end, you'll know which one fits your setup. Let's break it down. Room correction is where these two actually separate, because it's the thing that decides whether dialogue sits clean in the center or gets swallowed by a bass hump in the corner of your room. The Onkyo RZ50 ships with full bandwidth Dirac Live and the mic, no license to buy, and owners who run it through a laptop instead of the phone app keep saying the same thing. That imaging tightens up, and the mid-range gets noticeably clearer once it's dialed in. There's an opinion about the RZ50 that stuck with me. I ran the built-in correction first, and it was fine. But Dirac made a much bigger difference in clarity and crossover control, and I realized my old speaker set could have sounded this good all along. The Denon X3800H, for its part, comes with Odyssey Multi EQXT32, which is the good version of Odyssey, not the stripped one, and plenty of owners say it fixed their bass and never bothered upgrading. Dirac is available on the Denon, but you pay for the license separately. And the catch on the Onkyo side is that Dirac isn't set and forget, so if you want to plug it in and be done in 10 minutes, the Denon's guided setup is friendlier. Correction only takes you so far if the receiver can't drive the layout you want. Both do 9 channels of amplification with processing beyond that, so 5.1.4 is comfortable on either. The difference is what happens when you go to 7.1.4. The Onkyo processes 11.2 and has a full set of pre-outs, but there's a quirk worth knowing, because when you add an external 2-channel amp, only the surround backs can be assigned to it. You can't pick a different pair. The Denon processes 11.4 and is more relaxed about how you assign things, and it's happy running as a straight preprocessor if you eventually go all external amps. That flexibility carries into video, though not evenly. The Denon gives you 6 HDMI inputs at full 40 gigabit, so every console and player gets 4K 120 without you playing musical chairs with cables, plus 3 outputs if you're feeding a projector and a TV. The Onkyo does 4K 120 and 8K too, but only 3 of its ports run at 40 gigabit and the rest sit at 24. Count your current gen sources before you decide. Owners also mention slower input switching on the RZ50 and the occasional HDMI hiccup, usually a second or two of black screen when jumping from a console to a streamer. Annoying, not broken. On raw sound, the Onkyo is rated at 120 watts per channel versus 105 on the Denon. But that gap won't decide anything for you. What matters more is behavior under load, because the RZ50 limits power into 4 ohm speakers. So if you're running demanding towers loud in a big room, that's where it gets strained first. The Denon holds up better there, though it isn't limitless either, and serious speakers push you toward an external amp on both. For clean dialogue at normal volumes, they're very close, and honestly, whichever one you calibrate properly will win. Bass is where the Denon quietly pulls ahead. It gives you 4 independent subwoofer outputs with real control over each one, which matters because 2 subs placed asymmetrically fix room modes far better than 1 bigger sub ever will. The Onkyo has 2 sub-outs, but they're a mono pair carrying the same signal, so you can run dual subs. You just can't time and level them independently. If multiple subs are in your plan, that's the deal breaker. Long-term, both are solid, with the usual scattered story of a dead unit on arrival on either side, and both run warm enough that a cabinet without airflow is asking for trouble. The Denon has a longer track record for firmware that behaves. On extras, the Denon adds Oro 3D and HEOS multi-room, though owners find the HEOS app clunky for music streaming, while the Onkyo covers Chromecast, AirPlay 2 and Play-Fi, and works with Sonos. Price. The Denon costs quite a bit more, and that money buys the 4 sub-outs, the extra full bandwidth HDMI ports, Oro 3D, and the wider amp assignment. The Onkyo is the cheaper one and still hands you Dirac Live, THX certification, and slightly higher rated power, which is why it keeps coming up as the value pick. Whether those Denon extras earn the difference depends entirely on whether your room plan uses them. Here's the call. For most people building a serious theater on a budget that has limits, I'd take the Onkyo RZ50. Because you get Dirac Live in the box instead of paying extra for it later, and it costs less while still handling the layouts most of you are actually building. But if dual subs are anywhere in your plan, the Denon wins that outright, with 4 independently controlled outputs, and it's the one I'd pick if you're stacking current gen consoles and a projector, since every one of its inputs runs at full bandwidth. If you want calibration, that just works on the first try without a laptop, the Denon is friendlier there too. And you, which one would you pick? Let me know in the comments. Links below in the description.